Blencowe Resources continues to make excellent progress with its Orom-Cross graphite project in Uganda. Joining us now to give us the latest update, Mike Ralston. Mike, hello.
Hi, Alistair. Good to be chatting again.
Yeah, good to see you, Mike. So we're going to talk this morning initially about the Apollo testing. Tell us the latest about that.
Yeah, we put out an RNS last week, and we effectively have completed some further testing with this US graphite firm, Apollo. They are a niche, I guess, technical expert in what they do, all matters graphite in the States. They're one of our off-takers. We announced that earlier on in the year. And they've been doing some more testing on specifically in this case on lead acid batteries. And that's gone very, very well. Very strong positive results, which really reinforces the exceptional quality of the Orom-Cross graphite.
So we know there's an ongoing definitive feasibility study for Orom-Cross. Are these results going to feed into that at all?
Not directly. Ultimately, if we get bigger and better offtakes as a result of this, obviously it will. But in this iteration of the DFS, it's probably too soon. But we definitely see Apollo as one of our key off-takers going forward.
Yeah, so it's interesting to hear about this Apollo work. But you've got some other test work going on as well, don't you, Mike? Tell us about the other testing that's been happening in regard to the Orom-Cross graphite.
Yeah, there's been quite a bit of test work going on everywhere, which is, I guess, par for the course because we've got a lot of samples out all over the place. But with our partners in Chicago, AET, American Energy Technologies, they've been doing or continue to do the work within the Safe Loop initiative, which for those who haven't heard that mentioned before is a European Union initiative to build a Generation 3 lithium-ion battery to use in a standardized EV bus across the European continent going forward. And Orom-Cross will supply all of the natural flake graphite into Safe Loop going forward. So they've had some excellent results there in terms of some of the highest chargeability scores ever recorded for natural flake graphite. And that means that you can replace a lot of the synthetic graphite in the battery with natural flake, and it has consequences, both sustainability and cost-wise. So that's excellent. And again, it's just confirming the high quality of the graphite that we're providing, that not only goes into the EV sector, which is what Safe Loop is talking about, but into the lead acid batteries, which is what Apollo are testing. So it kind of says that we've got, when you've got high quality graphite, you can use it across a wider range of applications and end users, which is great because we obviously want to diversify and de-risk as much as we can.
Yeah, that sounds all very encouraging, Mike. So I mentioned the DFS a minute ago. Tell us a little bit about what the latest on that is. You've done most of the technical work, as I understand it, and a little bit more drilling or results from drilling still to come.
Yeah, we have. So we're nearly at the end. I mean, it's obviously taken a while, and we recognize the patience of everybody waiting to see it done, but we want to do it properly. And as you said, most of the technical work is done. Really, we're feeding in the last bits of the technical work now, and at the same time, we're getting upgraded infill results, well, a JORC resource upgrade from the work that we've done in this stage 7 drilling program. We've put a few results out to the market. There's definitely going to be more coming out over the course of the next days and then weeks, and ultimately an upgraded JORC resource. And then that feeds into the mine planning and we get the DFS out. Our intention is to complete the DFS and have it out there by the end of November, but certainly in this quarter. So yeah, it's looking good. Everybody's working obviously very hard to get this done and finished in this time frame. But it's a big value inflection point for the company. So we're working hard to get it done and get it out there.
So just so I got this straight, Mike, the order is going to be drill results, JORC resource, DFS. That's the way it's going to look.
Correct. Yeah, that's right.
So what do we expect from the DFS then? I mean, you've got a pre-feasibility study out there, obviously already with an NPV that's very significant, $420 million. Should we expect a higher number this time?
Well, I don't want to start talking about exactly what the numbers are going to be because I literally don't know. I haven't seen the final model, and it obviously flows through. And it'd be crazy if I start putting numbers out there which I haven't got a clue with, what they're going to be. So, I think that with the work that we've done since the PFS, there's a very, very high chance that we will exceed the NPV and some of the other key the KPIs that we delivered in the pre-feasibility. In particular, we've got this downstream processing, which adds another dimension. But also on the flip side, we've got a lot harder with the cost base. So we're bringing that down all the time. And at the same time, we've also gone a long way further with the offtake in terms of getting pre-qualified, in terms of getting offtake relationships and offtake agreements. So yeah, I think there's definitely going to be a substantial uplift in value. And along the way, we're trying to de-risk this as much as we can for everybody involved. And, my view on these things, and I guess it's probably just my view, is that, once you've de-risked and you've got a DFS out there, you're probably looking at a market value, hopefully, around about 15 to 20% of that DFS NPV. So, we want to put out a big number. We want to try and drive the value towards that sort of number. We think we're undervalued at the moment. I'm sure everybody does for themselves as well. But once it comes out, once we've got something to show to everybody in the market, it's a big moment for us, and it's coming soon.
And just a quick word about the graphite price, Mike. How will that feed into what we can expect?
Yeah, graphite pricing is very interesting, Alistair, because it's not like, you haven't got a London metal market for copper or lead or zinc or something. You haven't got a gold price, which everybody looks at every day. Graphite prices are all about you having a very specific end product, which is very different to everybody else's end product in the graphite space. And going through that pre-qualification, making sure you've got off-takers who obviously like it, want to contract with you, and then working out what prices you can get from them. Yes, there are some, ideas around what prices are for particular products as we'll be selling. But I think that because we've got a higher value, higher grade, and a better overall end product than many of our peers, I think we're going to be up at the top end of what we get as prices. And that will be for each and every different mesh size, be it small or large flake. And yeah, I think that's another positive factor to do with this DFS, is that we've gone through this whole qualification process, and we're very comfortable about where that's going to leave us in terms of the pricing.
So lots of positive things about the DFS and the news that's coming up then. So after the DFS is completed, the focus will then, I assume, turn to financing and marketing. So how are you approaching that aspect of the matter?
Well, marketing we've been dealing with, as I said, through this whole process of getting qualified, of getting samples out to, and that gave us bulk samples, and getting samples out to end users. They've all had, well, not all of them, the people who've had samples have had time to look at it. We've got a lot of interest. There will be a lot more interest as we move closer to production, because a lot of the off-takers want to see a project that's either in production or much closer to production before they will contract. So we're only really touching the tip of the iceberg in terms of the off-takers, and that will continue to grow as we move towards phase one production. So definitely marketing is going to happen more and more as we go forward. Financing, we're going to break this project down into two specific phases. The first is just a smaller plant to get up and running, and then a much larger ramp up thereafter, which will take obviously more capex, and it'll take a bit longer to get that money in place. So in the meantime, we want to hit the ground running as fast as we can post DFS on the financing solution for that first phase. And obviously, the quicker we can do that, the quicker we can start building it and become one of the very few new producers of graphite anywhere in the world.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating to watch as you guys continue down that road, Mike. So tell us a little bit before we close it out about what to expect in the near term. We've sort of ranged from the long term to the the near term in this conversation, but what about sort of news flow that's up and coming?
Well, we did a very extensive drilling program, over 230 holes, and we've only announced just a handful of them at this stage. We prioritize the infill drilling results, and we'll continue to get those out because those are the ones that are feeding into the DFS. So we're going to have more drill results for the infill, and then we're going to have more drilling results beyond that. Actually, in the middle of all that, we'll probably then have the JORC upgrade, and then beyond that, we'll have more drilling results coming through for the exploration work that we did at the new Beehive deposit and the Northern Syncline Western Limb, which we're calling the Ilian deposit. And both of those were a huge number of the holes that we drilled into Orom-Cross this last couple of months. So plenty of drill results, and it's going to be a constant flow of those, including then a JORC upgrade and ultimately an exploration target if we haven't got all of that into a JORC, and then the DFS completion itself. So as we finish DFS, as I said earlier, we go into funding, and we start trying to bring some term sheets into play, and marketing will continue with more and more work being done by off-takers. So all of these add value, all of them de-risk us further. And it's very exciting times. We're entering a sort of phase in our journey where we're really moving through the studies and towards going into first stage of development and production. So lots to look forward to, lots of news flow.
Exciting times indeed, Mike. We'll be watching with interest. Thanks
Absolutely.
very much for talking us through that today.
Thank you very much, Alistair. Nice chatting to you again.